Why, hello there everyone. I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Minasan, ohayou gozaimasu. And today we're working with breeding Neoholothele incei. Again, this is my second female. And yes, I do have 3 mature females, so this one's my second one. So let us get into it. So this breeding was mostly smooth until the end. Now stay tuned for that. And don't worry, this male comes out alive, so there's nothing to worry about. It's just that it happened so last second where she tried to snag him, so stay tuned and watch until the end. Recently I've been more busy because I got a new part-time job, and it's been keeping me a little bit away from my work doing, the tarantula breedings and whatnot, but I'll still try to upload as often as I can on Tuesdays and Fridays, and as stated in the last video, I will upload on those days still if I can, but it may be a little bit late, so for those who missed last week's video, please check it out, I'll leave in the top right. And yeah, work has been keeping me busy. Boku wa shikoto ga isogashin da. And I apologize if I sound a bit tired, and that's because I'm slightly overworked if I'm being completely honest, because I have this part-time job, and my online part-time job sort of, and also I'm freelancing a little bit, and doing tarantula work at the same time. All because I want a career for myself, something for me. And what I want to do is open a small tarantula business, but I don't know exactly how long it'll take, because I want to get the right pieces to my puzzle and get everything organized and sorted out. This could take months, this could take years, but it's one step at a time. But if I push on, I hope everyone does too. And I will also appreciate it if everybody will like, and also consider subscribing and following me along this journey. So a lot of people do ask me questions about how do I approach tarantula breeding, how do I breed tarantulas, how do I know when the timing is right, how to care for a female after breeding, what to do to care for a female to drop an egg sac, and honestly, that is so many questions I can't answer them all, because the base principles of breeding tarantulas is relatively the same all around universally when it comes to breeding tarantulas as a whole, but how you care and how you approach tarantula breeding will pretty much vary in certain ways depending on the species, because some species are more temperament friendly with mating and others not so really. And also, there's a lot that goes into it, and I would actually like to teach that to an apprentice later on once I get older, and also have more experience working with spiders overall, not just tarantulas. And also, the biggest thing is having my name known out there throughout the world if possible. But that will be for another day. Now, in terms of tarantula breeding, one common question that everyone keeps asking me is when do I pull a tarantula egg sac? And everyone will usually say 28 to 35 days. And I actually disagree with that to an extent, because it's really dependent on the species and how you care for the female when she has the egg sac. Because for me, working with different tarantula species over the years, I figured that different species had different amount of time requirements and different types of care for their egg sacs. I wouldn't necessarily say 28 to 35 days, even though that's generally the answer I would give to most new beginner tarantulas, because I don't want to give them false hope or tell them this way or that way, and then they try it and it doesn't work. But let's just say for me, I figured that 28 to 35 days is not always the case. Some species, their eggs will develop extremely quickly, and others will take much more time. And yes, it's not just species, but also how you care for the female whenever she has the egg sac. Sometimes it's better to keep it more dry, and other times it's better to keep the humidity lower or higher. It really just depends. There's a lot of factors, everyone. But I'm sure that you all who are watching understand where I'm coming from. Different species have different care requirements, even for egg sacs. But typically it's 28 to 35 days for the general New World tarantulas, which New World tarantula egg sacs tend to be very hardy, so it's pretty much, I don't want to say it's bulletproof of mistakes, but it's pretty easy to get by with small mistakes, which is why people recommend, curly hairs and avicularias for your new beginner tarantula breeding projects, because their egg sacs tend to be more forgivable for mistakes like that. Now, my disclaimer here is that I'm not saying all New World tarantulas have easy egg sac care requirements. I'm just saying that in general, most egg sac care guides and whatnot on YouTube and on the internet are pretty much generalized from your terrestrial New World tarantulas, so that's why a lot of people will say 28 to 35 days. Now, you have gotten this far through this video. You may be intrigued and you may be asking yourselves, yes, I know more than I'm letting on. And that is true. I know way more than I'm letting on, but I'm not going to give you away all of my trades and secrets now. That's going to be saved for the future. But maybe I'll open a course on tarantula breeding and exact care requirements in the future if I could get my own breeding facility or a place of my own to where I can actually work on spiders. But that's going to take a few years for that. Maybe 5 years at the most, I don't know. It really just depends. But the more support I get, and the more my name gets out there, then it will really speed up the process of me getting everything settled and getting everything ready for the future. So follow me and support me on my journey, guys. And then little by little, maybe I can educate you guys. Now I'm going to be transparent. There is still a lot of species out there that I have yet to work with. So the direction I want to take my collection and breeding skills is to focus more on the Pamphobedius genus and also the Asian species. And there is still so many species I have yet to work with, so there's still a lot I really want to chase after. And although I have worked with somebody to breed a lot of the hobby staples, such as Brachypelma, Grammostola, Carabina, Avicularia, etc., I would really like to start working on those species that are either uncommon, unheard of, or not much people know about, such as the Orphnaceous species Killzone Blue, Crassicris species Guerrero, Hysterocrate species Benin, and all of those types of tarantulas, which I'm pretty certain you probably are not too familiar with, or you probably never heard about them until right now. So I do have videos of those tarantulas here on my YouTube channel, and I have bred the Hysterocrate species Benin, and also the Orphnaceous species Killzone Blue. So those videos are here on the channel, so go check it out because those species are very interesting for sure. And I'm certain you guys probably never heard about them, or you may not even have them. So let us jump right back into this Neoholothele incei pairing. So this is my second female of my 3, and as stated before in my last video breeding my first pair, this species for me in terms of breeding is not very profitable. I actually like to breed this species as pets, or I like to breed them, raise them up, and then just trade them away for other tarantula species, or for more of the same species for, additional bloodline and whatnot. But I wouldn't really call this species a profitable one. Even the females are relatively cheap. So this is just my bias, but I personally would not pay over $100 for a mature female Neoholothele incei. I think that is way too expensive. And the reason why you may see prices that are $100 to $125, maybe even higher for a mature female Neoholothele incei female is because the market is way too inflated and is also way too saturated to an extent for certain species. But if I'm being honest, I don't want to step on anyone's toes because everybody's going to call me out and the tarantula businesses will start slandering my name just because I made an opinion that is pretty much honest. But hey, I'm not going to let you guys on way too much now. So I'm afraid you're most likely going to have to pay for an overpriced tarantula, whether you know it or not. Alrighty, so that is enough for now in terms of calling out the tarantula market and some people, not trying to hurt their feelings, but yeah, let us get back into it, everyone. So this Neoholothele incei pair was pretty smooth up and towards the end because she literally tried to snag him, but he does get away, so he lives to see another day. And like always, my males usually don't get eaten, so I think we'll be fine for the most part. Now funny enough, I did send out one of my Harpactila pulchripes, mature male. I sent him out to a female, and he actually got eaten, so that was pretty interesting. I don't know exactly why it happened, but in terms of loaning my males out, I'm usually very picky about who I choose, and the person I chose did have a bit of breeding experience, but it was still kind of upsetting to see my male get eaten. But hey, it is what it is. And oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention this, but someone did ask in the comments, do I record all of my tarantula breedings? And the answer is no. There are some tarantula breeding projects that I really just keep to myself, or other tarantula species that I don't really find interest in recording, so I just breed those by myself and not necessarily record them, because recording is a bit of a hassle at times for certain species, because you're sitting and waiting for hours. So I don't really think the profit or the end result will be worth it, because what a lot of people see on YouTube is usually the interesting stuff. But for me, I gotta see the boring stuff as well, so yeah, it's pretty much a hassle at times. So to answer your question, do I record all of my tarantula pairings? The answer is no. So now I'm gonna answer one of the most common questions I keep getting asked. And I get asked this question on my emails, my YouTube comments, and pretty much everywhere. And that is, will I make a video teaching people how to breed tarantulas? And the answer to that is no. Because you have to understand, while you can breed tarantulas pretty much the same all around and universally for all species, how you care for the female, how you acclimate them, and how long you keep the mother with the egg sac, all of that is dependent on the species. This is why a lot of people and a lot of beginners make this mistake of, oh, you gotta do this, you keep the mother with the egg sac for 28 days, which in some cases is less than that, in some cases is more. It's honestly kind of confusing, but the easiest way to put it is this. All fish are fish, but not all fish are saltwater, and not all fish are freshwater. Let alone not all fish are piranhas, and not all fish are catfish. Even though they're fish in general, they're not necessarily the same. There's a lot of things that make them different. Same thing applies for tarantulas. There's different types of tarantulas, New Worlds, Old Worlds. Then you have African species, Asian species, Brazilian species, etc. Overall though, there are some things that are applicable to all or most tarantulas, whether it's care or even breeding at times, but you have to understand that there are also different species as well. I'm sorry everybody, I apologize. It seems that I'm letting on way too much, but hey, maybe for another day, right? But anyhow though, pretty much it's gonna wrap up around here, and this male is gonna make a run for it. And I'm honestly surprised how it kind of went 180, how that was cooperative, and then the next moment she tried to eat him, which is, there he goes, just like that. Now he does live, and he does see another day. Now I was prepared in case something like this will happen, and I'm usually always on guard, so yeah, he does get away, he does live, and that's a good thing. So I'm gonna wrap it up around here. So without further ado, I'm Laxow, aka the Kumo Sensei. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay updated to whenever I upload here on the channel. I upload every single Tuesday and Friday, so stick around. And also support me on Patreon and follow me on my social medias. And with that, stay lax, and Laxow out from the Kumo Sensei.